Okay, hello, my friends. My name is Darren Gerdes, and this is your daily brief news in the war in Ukraine. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. There are 1,690 Russians off the battlefield day over day. Now, in context, that is a tie for the fifth highest day of the war. 8 tanks, 27 armored fighting vehicles, 49 artillery systems, and 100 vehicles and fuel tanks. It's pretty hot on the front line. Now, Andrew Perpetua has just caught up. He's been behind for like 5 days here, and it's just been that intense. This is the highest week of casualties, Russian casualties in the war. And so here these are the losses he could identify. You're looking at what, 3-4 to 1, maybe almost 4 to 1 for the 18th. And then for the 19th, these are the losses that he could identify, which was closer to 1 to 1, a little bit better than 1 to 1. Okay, so that's just giving you a high-level overview of what's been happening. He said, I'm happy that on Friday we were 5 days behind, and today we're only 6 hours behind. It was very difficult to catch up. The information space is unforgiving, and that's a rough job that he has there. Okay, this is the British Ministry of Defense intelligence update. I thought this was fascinating because he was talking about what happened in the Black Sea Fleet. And we just passed 1,000 days. And 1,000 days ago, nobody could have possibly imagined that this would have happened. Prior to Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Russia's leadership almost certainly perceived the Russian Federation Navy and the Black Sea Fleet as integral components of their strategic maritime power. After 1,000 days of war, Russia's naval capabilities in the Black Sea have been significantly depleted through highly effective Ukrainian operations. Pre-invasion, the Ukrainian Navy was vastly outnumbered by the Black Sea Fleet and limited to a small number of major warships and coastal defense vessels. Throughout the conflict, the Ukrainian Navy has been unable to operate conventionally in the Black Sea. However, since 24 February 2022, the Ukrainian forces have destroyed or damaged over 25% of major Russian warships operating in the Black Sea. This includes sinking of the Black Sea Fleet's flagship, the Moskva, which had previously been described as a cutting-edge air defense platform. As a result, Russia's Black Sea Fleet has been forced to move all of its major assets from its historic base in Sevastopol to Novorossiysk in the eastern Black Sea. Russian units operating in the region have also been forced to adapt their tactics and change the areas in which they operate. Despite Russia's Black Sea Fleet currently being limited to the eastern Black Sea, it retains the ability to conduct long-range strikes into Ukraine in support of land operations. But how long that'll be, now that they can use longer-range missiles, is an open question. But the Black Sea Fleet's been devastated in this war. Putin never dreamed that this would have been the case. Now, last night, in my three big stories, which was actually 5 big escalations, which YouTube decided to demonetize for some reason I don't understand, because I don't show things just blowing up. I'm very careful to stay within their parameters. But 5 big escalations. I showed you a number of places where the Russians were hitting. Okay, Russian Telegram channels reported a drone attack on ammunition warehouse in Kotov, Novgorod region, hearing loud explosions. And these are just a number of them. I don't know that I'm being comprehensive here. 4th largest oil refinery in the country belonging to Lukoil has been shut down following Ukrainian drone strikes. It had annual output of 17 million tons. Russian ammo storage hit in drone strike 680 kilometers from the border with Ukraine. And I'll show a couple of these. Here's another one of this. 13th rocket and artillery arsenal attacked by Ukraine drones 680 kilometers away in Nizhny Novgorod. The site stores shells for mortar and artillery, missiles for Grad, Smerch, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. Right? So this was a good hit. Russian Telegram channels report a drone strike on an attack ammunition warehouse in Kotov, Novgorod. Here is the sky is not supposed to look like that, right? Samara region reports of arrivals at the oil depot. Air defense, now Russian air defense says that it shot down 42 UAVs over the territories of Bryansk, Smolensk, Moscow, Kursk, Orel, and Rostov regions. We shot it down. Okay, well, I mean, they can claim it. It doesn't hurt anything for them to claim it, even if, in fact, that didn't actually get shot down like they say. Okay, so this gentleman is a soldier complaining about his military. Who are we to the politicians? To them, we're just meat. Well, that's a good point. That is kind of how they treat you. Another awakened Russian soldier from the Assault Reconnaissance Unit realized that the state had abandoned many of his comrades allegedly missing in action while politicians pocketed their money. So that's part of the way that the system actually rolls, the way that system treats not only Ukrainians, but even Russians. All right, so let's look at the front line, and we're just going to go progressively across the front line to different areas to see just how much damage is being inflicted where. And thank you to Michael McKay, who does a great job in tabulating this. Sumy region, firing artillery across the border from the Russian Federation territory. That's what they were doing in Sumy. In Dniprovsk direction, two enemy attacks. And in Kharkiv, they stormed positions of Ukrainian units 5 times. On the Bakhmut front, invaders stormed Ukrainian positions 8 times. In the Kupiansk direction, invaders attacked 11 times. Russians dropped 14 guided aerial bombs on the Kursk region, and in the Lyman direction, they stormed Ukrainian positions 14 times. In I don't even know how to pronounce that. Verkremikvika? I'm sorry about that. Direction, the Russians attacked 15 times. In Kharkov direction, invaders attacked the positions of Ukrainian defenders 22 times. Across direction, Russian fascist invaders led 37 assaults. Okay, so you can tell by that some things like Kharkov and Kursk, and Pokrovsk are really, and this has been consistent, really been the focal points for the Russians. And yesterday, on November 19th, the Russians conducted 73 airstrikes, dropping 124 guided aerial bombs on Ukrainian defenders. So that gives you a sense of why the casualty rates are where they are, because they just keep storming. And these are all the places where they were hitting, like 7, 8 lines deep of just listing city after city. Yeah, that's where they were hitting. Okay, so I showed you this woman. She was like I think a kindergarten teacher who has been trained on how to use a shoulder-fired missile. Okay, so you've likely seen the video of this combat operation when Olga, Valentina, and Natalia shot down a Russian missile, and she shot it, and she's like dropped to her knees and like, well, I did it. Well, her unit, Ukrainian defenders who shot down a Russian KH-101 missiles in the Rivne region, received awards. Senior soldiers, Ola, and they list the names. Ola's husband died in the war in 2023. Behind our backs, this is what they say as quote though. Behind our backs are our children, our families, our relatives, our brothers in arms, the lady said. So glory to the Ukrainian heroines. And here they're receiving their awards with the Minister of Defense. Okay. I saw this and I thought that, wow, this is great. I wish American politicians were more like this. This is John Healey saying he's the British former Minister of Defense, I think, State Secretary for Defense. John Healey, or maybe he's current. Yeah, current State Minister of Defense. So we sit on opposite sides of the House of Commons, but today, 1,000 days since Putin's illegal invasion of Ukraine, we have one clear message. The UK is united for Ukraine, and I wish our politicians in the US were thinking along these same lines. Okay, just a couple more things. So Russia is conducting a massive information and psychological attack against Ukraine, according to the GUR. But messengers and social networks are allegedly spreading this message on behalf of the GUR about a threat of a particularly massive missile and bomb strike in Ukraine. But it turns out that this was a fake. Nevertheless, there seems to be some kind of information. The U.S. Embassy in Kyiv has been closed after receiving specific information of a significant air attack. This is according to NBC News, so that's fairly reputable. And yet, while that's happening, and it's not just the U.S. embassy, Spain's and a few other embassies, Italy, I think, were also closing. And yet, Anna from Ukraine posted this: embassies closed, coffee shops not. Like, you just got to admire the Ukrainian people's mentality. Okay, yesterday I was talking about how after one day, Jake Bro had gotten over 250,000 in donations. Now this is where they are after just one day toward their $1 million goal. And I haven't refreshed this page since last night when I was talking about this. And let's refresh it and see. They're at 446,000, almost a half a million now. And by the time you see this, it might be at a half a million because I have to save and then I have to upload to YouTube and it takes a little while. And then by the time it gets out to you, it certainly will have a few more $1,000s, maybe tens of thousands more. But that's awesome. This is his third $1 million campaign. And when he started the first one, it wasn't for $1 million. It was for a fraction of that. And it just kept going and going and going. Anyway, that's all that I have today. Thank you, my friends, for watching. Thank you for the likes. That helps tell the algorithm, yes, this is good. The shares, the subscribes. Thank you more than anything for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.